Hello everybody, this is Stephen Whitfield, a drilling contractor. Right now I'm in the Woodlands, Texas at DRAAS Command, a fully operational, real-time command center that provides data and insights on a number of rigs and wells for customers all over the world. Now in this video, I'm going to be speaking with Amir Galaby of DRAAS Command and Chris Schneider of Corva, one of the partners in this command center, about all the stuff that's going on here and all the insights being gathered from this center. So check it out. So hello everybody, with me right now is Amir Galaby of DRAAS Command. Now you might be familiar with Amir's face. We did an interview with him from an IADC Drilling Engineers Committee Tech Forum a little while back. He's invited us out here to DRAAS Command. We're going to talk a little bit about what all this is, what all this cool stuff is behind us. So Amir, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for coming out.
Well, thanks for inviting us, and let's talk about this place. So this DRAAS Command, so it's a command center. And can you tell us a little bit about what a command center is for the people out there who might not be familiar?
Yeah, absolutely. And we wanted to really redefine what an operating center really does nowadays. This concept has been around for about 45 years when it first came out, but really changed over years and the responsibilities and the deliveries that it does to the operations. So we wanted to bring more value to the wells, on the operations side. So how can we make sure that our team that are sitting here right behind us, that are more involved in the operations and they take more responsibility when it comes to the decision-making process. So cutting down really this reaction time and improving on the signs and the warning signs as they come up and taking the right decisions going forward.
So tell me more about this. We got all these screens behind us. So what is all this doing?
Yeah, it's a lot of engineering behind all of these screens, and really what it is it's focusing on what is happening at the well site, because the data shows for every 3 drilling hours there is 1 hour that is wasted time, that is preventable. What wasted time means is that it's a removable time, whether that's non-productive time or invisible lost time that happened at the well site. And if you really do the right focus and react at the right time and do the right decision, then you can cut that down completely, almost completely, and then you get yourself a new well time that you can actually deliver. So what we're doing here is that we've equipped our experts, the people that are sitting here in the command center, with the right tools, and these are the digital tools that are right behind us. And these tools are really working on giving them the right warning signs at the right time so that they can take decisions with the least amount of reaction time possible, and then that relays on a better performance.
So how did you set all of this stuff up?
So we've developed an in-house proprietary solution that we call it our AI SME. So we have your experts that are working here in the pods, but how do they get this additional leverage to make sure that they're doing the right decisions at the right time? So what the AI SME really is think of it as the ChatGPT on steroids. What it does is that it pulls data from public information, which is your standard AI, agentic AI solution that's out in the market. But on top of that, it also takes into consideration offset well data. And then the nice part, which is the third layer of information, is the real-time data streams that are coming in. And that's really what's really interesting about it, because you can use it to ask questions in real time with the operations that are happening. So, for example, you can ask it, my ROP is dropping, what am I supposed to do? And it looks at your real-time data, it looks at your offset, and puts everything together to come up with a recommendation, keeping our expert human in the loop so that they can provide recommendations back to the field that is backed by AI.
So before we were filming, we were talking off camera a little bit about this operator-first mentality, which I thought was an interesting way to phrase things. Can you explain to everybody out there listening, what does that mean? How does that relate to what you guys are doing here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a service provider and as a value-creating tool that we're trying to give out to our customers, we always have to think the operator first, what it really means to them, right? So one of our co-founders actually was an operator for the longest time, and he started this company with this approach on what makes sense the most for the operator, what brings the most value, right? And it needs to make sense financially at the end of the day, that they can use a command center like this to integrate it in their workflows so that they can bring them value. So when we looked at the customers that we worked with before, and we've seen some of the AFEs that we're able to deliver, we work with small companies, smaller operators, mid-sized operators, or big operators. Each one of them has a different value proposition. So some of these guys have a full-on team, so they don't need a full-on command center that is backed with like directional drillers, drilling engineers, drilling supervisors. They might need just a drilling performance engineer that's focused primarily on performance. And then some of the other guys are actually just a bunch of maybe 4 or 5 people that know what they want, but they don't know how to get there. So we support them from everything from the pre-well planning, preparing their AFEs, preparing their vendor selections, be involved in their rig selections, and then all the way to post-well analysis to look at how the wells were performed and what would be a perfect well that is coming up, how should it be planned based on our learnings. The core focus that we have is on the execution part, the execution layer. And that is where we focus on, providing immediate feedback as warning signs, powered by our AI tools, come into play using our Invicta platform. This is our trademarked, proprietary solution to help give the right information at the right time to our people so that they can provide that feedback to the field and be involved in the decision-making process. So we work on establishing like the workflow, how things are going to work, who's going to do what, and then establishing the command center kind of workflow with that specific operator. And what we've seen and what has been working so far is that the more they use a command center like this and the more they integrate in the workflow, the more the AFE would show that is behind, below the targeted plan, which is always a good thing for the operator with our services included.
So I guess the last question I would ask then is about sort of partnerships. We were talking a little bit about that as well off camera, about sort of the nature of the partnerships behind all the stuff that you guys are doing here. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of our growth strategy is looking at partnerships, so, looking at the right partners and what it makes sense. And recently we've partnered with Corva, CoreGeo, and Altitude in providing an integrated real-time operating center. And I'll let Chris talk a little bit about that.
Well, we'll talk to Chris in a minute. But Amir, thanks again for having us out here for another video. You've made it through another video with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming out.
So with me right now is Chris Schneider of Corva, and a little heads up for those of you who read Drilling Contractor, the print and digital edition, this guy's name is going to show up in the upcoming January, February edition of Drilling Contractor. Just be on the lookout for that. But we're going to be talking about Corva's relationship with all the stuff going on here at DRAAS, and see a little bit more about the nature of partnerships that they have. So, Chris, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, you're very welcome. Glad to be here.
So I've kind of set you up already. So I think the first question I'm going to ask is to tell us a little bit about Corva's role in what we have here.
Thank you for the question. So really, I think the important thing is to start with the operator in mind here. So just like what Amir was saying here. So if you think about Corva's DNA over the past several years, it's really been about technology first and partnering with customers to help them drive down their AFEs. If you think of how things have changed over the last probably 5 years in the industry, I mean, AFE days on average have gone down consistently. I mean, in the Permian, for instance, from 20 days to almost 10, in some cases less than that. So every additional day of performance that we can drive together is going to be exponentially harder for the operator side. So what's needed for that is partnerships. So I'm really proud to announce that we're working with DRAAS, for instance. Also in collaboration with them, we've partnered with Core Geologic and also Altitude Energy Partners. So the beauty of this is now we have an integrated tech stack together. We're working together collaboratively with industry experts, deep domain expertise and knowledge, and ultimately we can really help those customers drive down and find those last bits of performance they can get to really help them focus on flattening their non-productive time as well as their invisible lost time. So we think together, in collaboration with our customers and all the partners together, it's just like we kind of always talk about is getting everybody looking at the same data the same way, fully integrated, and working together towards the same goals.
So Chris, I mean, the number of partnerships that I've seen from Corva, the number of partnerships that we have covered in our magazine and on video, I mean, it's kind of staggering when you think about it. What is it about this particular partnership with DRAAS that excites you?
Oh, no, thank you for that. So really, if you think about this, again, going back, Corva is a technology company, in collaboration, with many others. What DRAAS really brings to the table that I'm most excited about is, okay, a lot of that engineering knowledge that they have, the pod structure that's worked, it's been proven out, for several years with their co-founder and different operators. So really kind of that expertise and collaboration, Corva's, we kind of see that as really, a technology enabler, and, can really be driven collectively, and DRAAS has a lot of that execution, operational knowledge, and many things that Corva doesn't offer, from the services side. So I think together, the combined offering, it really is powerful for the end customer in mind. So I'd say that's what I'm most excited about.
It'll be interesting to see what goes on here coming forward. So thank you again, Chris.
No, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
So we'd like to thank Amir and Chris for taking the time to speak with us today. From DRAAS Command in the Woodlands, Texas, this is Stephen Whitfield. Thank you for visiting drillingcontractor.org.